Imagine this. It's the end of the year. Apple has rolled out the iPhone 17 lineup. A new entry-level iPad, M5 iPad Pros, M5 MacBook Pros, and even a refreshed Vision Pro. And in your living room, you're still staring at the same Apple TV 4K from 3 years ago. No Apple Intelligence. No next-gen Wi-Fi. No real gaming leap. Just the same little black box that quietly fell behind everything else Apple is doing. So what's going on? Where is the next Apple TV 4K? When is it actually coming? And is it smarter to wait for it or just buy the current model? If you're searching for the next Apple TV 4K release date or skimming Apple TV 4K 2025 rumors, this is for you. We're going to cover timing, realistic upgrades, and whether you should buy now or hold off. Let's start with timing, because that's the big mystery. All year long, the rumor mill kept promising soon. September with the iPhone event? Nope. October with iPads? Still no. Early November? Nothing. And now that the year's basically over, the odds of Apple dropping a brand new Apple TV in December are very, very low. Apple almost never launches major hardware in December. There have been rare exceptions, like AirPods in 2016 and AirPods, Macs in 2020, but those are outliers. Historically, Apple's big hardware waves are spring and fall, which means if it didn't land this fall, the most logical window is next year, specifically spring. There are some strong hints pointing that way. Mark Gurman at Bloomberg, one of the most reliable Apple reporters, has noted Apple TV 4K inventory getting tight in stores when Apple quietly lets stock run low. That pattern usually happens right before a refresh. He's also reported that Apple plans to showcase the new Siri and Apple Intelligence in the living room with refreshed Apple TV 4K and HomePod mini hardware. That's important. Apple does not want its iStory to live only on iPhone, iPad, and Mac. The living room matters a lot. Now look at Apple's typical schedule. The next wave of Siri upgrades and Apple Intelligence features is expected to roll out in the first half of next year, aligned with major OS updates. That lines up perfectly with an Apple TV 4K refresh in early to mid-year, most likely spring. If I had to put money on it, I'd say March is the sweet spot. Apple loves using March for quieter, high-impact spec bumps, the kind that don't need a massive arena keynote but still move the platform forward. A new Apple TV 4K with a faster chip, Wi-Fi 7, and Apple Intelligence support fits that pattern exactly. Is March guaranteed? No, but spring is the most logical window by far. So if you're watching this near the end of the year, odds are we're just a few months away, not years. So what does the new box actually look like? Visually, don't expect fireworks. The rumors point to a design nearly identical to the current third-generation model, the slim, matte black square that disappears on your TV stand. No RGB lights, no wild colors, no crazy shapes. And honestly, that makes sense. The Apple TV does its job by staying out of your way, small, silent, reliable. The real action is under the hood. Right now, the third-gen Apple TV 4K runs on Apple's A15 Bionic. That chip is perfectly fine for streaming apps and casual gaming. But it's not cutting edge anymore, especially if we're talking Apple Intelligence, higher-end games, or more complex apps that live on your biggest screen. The next Apple TV 4K is widely expected to jump to an A17 Pro class chip, or better, the same family that debuted in the iPhone 15 Pro. That's a serious leap. What does it mean for you? First, snappier everything. Menus feel instantaneous. App switching gets buttery smooth. Heavy apps open faster. If you're the kind of person who notices when a streaming box hesitates, this alone will make the experience feel premium. Second and more interesting is gaming. With an A17 Pro level chip, Apple TV 4K starts edging into real casual console territory. That class of silicon already runs full console-style titles on iPhone. Think Resident Evil, Assassin's Creed, and other AA ports. On your TV, that power translates to higher fidelity, steadier frame rates, and more ambitious games on Apple Arcade and beyond. No, it's not replacing your PlayStation or Xbox for hardcore gaming, but a quiet little box that streams 4K HDR, runs modern high-quality games, and works with your favorite controllers. For a lot of homes, that's more than enough. Then there's networking. The new Apple TV 4K is rumored to adopt a custom Apple wireless chip and support Wi-Fi 7 with a newer Bluetooth stack, including Li Audio. Wi-Fi 7 isn't just a buzzword. It brings higher bandwidth, lower latency, and better performance in crowded environments. Translation: more reliable 4K HDR streaming when the whole household is online. Fewer drops during live sports, smoother cloud gaming and remote play, and less buffering for high bitrate content. If your router is older, you might not feel all the benefits on day one, but over the next several years, as you upgrade your network, this box will be ready. Now let's talk about the real star, Apple Intelligence and the new Siri. This is the biggest reason a new Apple TV 4K needs to exist. The current third-gen Apple TV 4K is not expected to support Apple Intelligence. It just doesn't have the right combination of chip and memory for Apple's on-device iStack. And Apple has been clear that the Apple Intelligence experience targets newer, more capable hardware. That instantly creates a problem. If your iPhone, iPad, and Mac all get smarter, more conversational, and more personalized, but your TV stays dumb, the living room feels stuck in the past. So what would Apple Intelligence on Apple TV actually do? Imagine holding the Siri button and asking, "Show me funny sci-fi movies from the last 5 years with at least an 80% audience score, available on the services I already pay for." Or, "Find that thriller we started last Friday, the one with the courtroom scene, and resume from where we left off." Or, "Who is this actor? What else have they been in? And is any of it free on my subscriptions?" That's the kind of contextual, natural language search Apple Intelligence is built for. Your Apple TV today can do a tiny slice of that, but not at the level people now expect from modern AI. Beyond content discovery, a smarter Siri becomes the evening command center. You're on the couch and ask, "What's the weather tomorrow morning? Did the Warriors win tonight?" Turn off the kitchen lights and lock the front door. Yes, Apple TV can do versions of some of this today. But Apple Intelligence aims to be more conversational, better at follow-ups, and more aware of your context, preferences, and subscriptions. When Gurman says the next Apple TV 4K will help showcase the new Siri and Apple Intelligence, that's the point. The living room is where AI stops being a phone trick and becomes part of your daily routine. What about everything else? Design tweaks, accessories, and pricing. Expect the same compact box and a very similar Siri remote, maybe with minor refinements. We could see more base storage so large games and apps don't constantly re-download. Apple might adjust pricing to better compete with Roku and Fire TV, or introduce a tier, set up Standard and Pro, but that's speculation until it isn't. Expect tight integration with a refreshed HomePod Mini if that lands too, easier TV speaker pairing, better multi-room audio, and more synchronized media controls. For smart home fans, Apple TV remains a rock-solid HomeKit Matter hub, and a new model could improve thread performance for supported accessories. In other words, same discrete design, much bigger muscles. New chip, new wireless, new AI, same footprint, way more capable. So here's the question that really matters if you're in the use right. Now, should you buy the current Apple TV 4K or wait? If you want Apple Intelligence on your TV, you should wait. The current third-gen Apple TV 4K is not expected to get Apple's new on-device AI. Apple isn't going to backport its heaviest AI features to a 3-year-old streaming box. If you care about a smarter Siri experience, better search, conversational requests, and future AI features, the current model is a dead end. You should also wait if you already own the third Gen Apple TV 4K and it's working fine. The next model's A-series jump and Wi-Fi 7 will make a bigger difference for people who plan to keep their device for years, especially if gaming appeals to you or you've got a busy home network.